Bummer, go to hit the slide room number 1, which is this right here, and now listen to it. It like stops. Like this side stops, that side goes a little bit further, but then it stops too. So it's like, problem. Sliding down. Pull this all the way down. So he's had a green, 3, 4, 5. That looks good. All right. So we're gonna try to figure that out. All right. So what's the first thing you do if you have a problem with your slide? Well, if it sounds something like that, you want to look for your slide controller. And then that should give you some kind of clue what's going on, all right? So the slide controller for this just happens to be in this cabinet down here. And notice there's a blinking red light, okay? So it's gonna give you a blinking signal. So he's had a green, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a green. All right, so a green and then 8 reds. So I can't really see what it's in there. Now let's see if I can get my flashlight out. See, it blinks 8, wire short between controller and motor. Okay. Doesn't say like whether it's on the left side or right side. I'm just gonna deduce that because the left side stopped and the right side kept going, that there's a problem with the wire on the left side. And we're gonna test the wires to try to figure out which one has the problem. And then it could actually be not a problem in the wire, could be a problem with like the connection at the motor. So we don't quite know what's going on, but it's something that you need to get fixed, right? Because you can't just have a slide that's not gonna go in. We're gonna go and try to troubleshoot and see if we can get at the motor on the left side before we send the slide out, okay? We might have to move it, and if so, we'll put it in manual mode to do that. All right, so let's see what we can do here. A quick update to my troubleshooting. Here's what I did. This is the wire in question, and it's got 5 wires. You got a black, red, brown, green, and blue, and you can see the same wires over there at the controller. And what I did was I went ahead and jumpered a couple wires over at the controller, and then would come back to this spot over here, and I would use my multimeter to test between a couple pins to make sure there's continuity. I was checking one wire, jumping it at the other end, and then coming back, and with that it was like a closed loop, so I could take these 2 ends, and I have a little alligator clip, and check between continuity between 2 pins. Now, if you have any questions on that, just drop them below and I'll try to explain that a little further. So I went through and tested all the pins, and they all tested out, which means that the wire was fine. So then I said, all right, what's next? If the wire's fine, I actually switched the wires too, and on the motor just to test it out, and it still was this motor right here that was stopping. So I said, it seems like the wire's fine, I have to pull the motor. So, to pull the motor, it's actually not as hard as I thought. So what we have to do is, on the inside here, you have to peel back this little rubber thing right here, and you can see it has 2 channels on the side, and that peels away from this thing, and then this peels away, but it peels away with like that foam double stick tape, okay? So you can see it on this back side, and that's permanent stuff. So when you peel it away, you'll have to put new foam tape back on it. Now, there's one screw that locks these type of motors in, and it's on the other side. And in order to get to it, you have to peel this piece of rubber back, and then you'll see it right there. It's a square screw right there. So in order for me to be able to get this one to go, I had to come and put it into manual mode, and you do that by hitting the button that's inside, and you'll see a little arrow, and just watch as you push the button, it hits green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the 7th you hold it, okay, until it starts blinking. So now once it's blinking, it says it's in manual mode, and in order to slide it out a little bit, I say room 1 out, and listen to it, right? It doesn't do that startup sound, it just pushes it out. So that's fully manual mode, and the reason why I had to do it is to get at the screw right there. So went into my bag, found a screw bit here, and you just unscrew it. I'm trying to not drop it and hold the camera at the same time. And then you come inside, and then you have to manipulate the motor a little bit. And let me put you on camera here. So you have to, once it's done, you should be able to move it around a little bit. And if it's a little too tight, you can move the slide. And move it back and forth. See, notice how it moved. I don't know if you could tell if it moved or not. Yep. Okay, so it moved a little bit, and then it's got to like loosen up a little, and then you can pop it out. So this is probably the hardest part right here, and I have a screwdriver that I'm going to use to kind of prop it out of there. And if your slide doesn't move at all, like maybe a power thing is done, you can try this right here, or you can try to manipulate your whole slide by pushing on it a little bit, okay? So now that I got it up, you see that it got up, then you just push it towards the front, and what I'm doing with my other hand here is I'm on the other side pushing it a little bit, and so you just push it out, and then once you get it out like that, you're good to go, and you can work with it, okay? So after removing the motor, I took the cap off and right away noticed that the blue wire was no longer connected underneath. It was just kind of free floating. So what happened is the motor moves around so much, it just kind of tilts and moves. And notice this right here, like this scratched part, there's actually shavings, metal shavings that like were all over the place. So I got to clean that out too. But this motor moves around so much that the blue wire became disconnected from the board here. And so when the motor would start up, it would think that it's not running. And so then it would just cut itself off and no good, right? So what I'm doing here is I just took the soldering off of there, and I'm going to pop the wire in from the top this time since I can reach it. I don't want to have to remove this whole thing just in order to resolder that on. So I'm just going to go from the top, and then I'll put the cap back on and then tape it all up so that the wires have a little different spot to to move around in there. So hopefully it doesn't happen to any of the other wires. I looked at those other ones; they all look pretty good. So, but if this does happen again, I'll know how to do it. And since we walked through how to take the motor out, wasn't that big of a deal. So we should be good to go. So let's solder this up and let's put it back in. That was a bad one. That looks good. All right. Unplug my soldering iron and hang it up somewhere. And that was it. That's it. Just a couple seconds of fix. All right, so let's go put it back in. And, well, actually, wait, we have to tape it up. All right, we're all set. I just taped it up so the wires are out of the way. Now we gotta drop it back in there. This is kind of the tricky part.
Oh,
you guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It flew though.
Oh, did it?
Oh, it's like,
They set the trap. Wait, there were some mice in here. Tons of mice in Tennessee. Way more than Wisconsin, evidently. They were in our camper for the first time, so I set a bunch of traps. And I put some peanut butter on them. And the mouse ate the peanut butter off the trap, but it didn't get it. So Nate wanted to use a Tootsie Roll to set the, or to snap the trap, and he just did. And they all kind of laughed about it. Oh yeah, get this going. Now one thing I didn't take note of was the direction that this was in. So I think what I remember is that these wires were towards the side, because I remember thinking, oh, those are kind of close to the wall there. So I'm gonna put it in that direction, but to try to make sure I get the wires out. This was kind of the tough part of getting it out. I was getting this little spot down here. I don't know if you could see it. That spot to be up over there. So I'm gonna put it on the side. I hope you guys can do this. Okay, so now I'm in. Now I think I'll just make sure I got the wires up here. Twist it until it goes in there. And there it goes. Okay. And then on the outside, there's the screw right there. So we'll put that screw in there. I'm gonna get a couple angles here because I'm getting good at this YouTube stuff. All right, now we got the motor in. Let's just hook it up. Let's plug it in. Like right there, and I can't do this with two hands. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You can see my paint though. How's that look? Pretty nice, huh? There's the old color and the new color. All right, got it all plugged in. And it looks kitty wampus, like big time. Oh, it's totally kitty wumps. All right, we gotta do something. Oh, it's not even in there. Okay, we gotta do something about this. All right, so it's not right. It's not right, can't do it. It's not right, let's do it again. I'm guessing my screw didn't go in right. So. All right, have fun. All right, so the problem is that I ran the motor after pulling it out. I ran the motor so it didn't sit down in the spot because it's got these three little bolts on the end that will fit down in there. So what I had to do was, as you saw, just kind of run it back and forth. As it moved, it just sat itself down into place. That was good. All right, let's give it a try. Then I'll have to wrap up. I have to kind of. I'll put this wire in here for sure so it doesn't get caught. But I'll have to do some kind of double stick tape on there and then reattach the rubber parts, but we'll get to that in a second. Here we go. That's good. All right, that's what it's supposed to do. Let's run it in just for fun. Beautiful. All right, that's excellent. Glad I got that taken care of. Now, we do have a warranty on this camper. We bought like a 5-year warranty, so it's good to like 2022 or something like that. It's just a long time. The problem is, especially during this weird time where, you know, people need to stay at home and all that stuff, trying to get this thing into a place for service. Oh, I just couldn't imagine trying to do it. So if it's something that I can fix by myself, I'm going to give it a try. But if it's like, you know, if this whole slide was to fall out or something, then sure, I'd take it to a service place. But, you know, this took me a couple hours on a Sunday afternoon. So if this is something that you're running into, chances are the bumping, the movement of the motor or something may have jarred one of those wires loose. So you can pull it out. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Just taking out a screw and, you know, moving the motor a little bit and getting it to pop out was actually pretty simple. Now, if I had to do that one over there, I don't know what I would do because it's, you know, got a cabinet right next to it and it'd probably really hard to get in there. So that's probably the challenge. Now, I'm glad it was this one here, nice open space. But if this is something that's happening for you, give this a try. I don't know if you can break it any more than it is. Try manual mode to make sure the thing goes in and out. And if it does, then chances are one of your wires for like the sensor broke. Or if manual mode doesn't work, maybe one of the power wires actually got disconnected. And you can connect that back up and be back in business. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please drop them below. If you just want to say hi, say hi. I'd love to say hi back to you. Let me know where you're at. Where are you camping these days? What are you up to? What kind of rig you got? Have you done this type of thing before? Love to hear from you. Hope to see you soon. We are hitting the road. We are super excited. We're going to do a whole summer, as much as we can, of course, with what's going on. But another tour going around. We're gonna stay north, stay cool, and just be cool at the same time. Thanks so much. Hope you're having a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Beautiful. All right, that's excellent.